All right, Dan Sehn here, publisher of Argo Comics, and we are continuing our series to look into the individual issues of Argo 5. And we started out with Argo 5 number 0 before, but that was actually not the first issue that was published. We have to go back to Argo 5 number 1 as the first issue. All right, we have here a cover by Brad Green with colors by Carlos Montañez. Um, Brad Green had went on to do Argo 5 number 4. A phenomenal artist who, and this issue, uh, being that I wanted a great cover to start things off, he was a perfect person. Loved the image so much that it became the banner that is behind the Argo Comics table at conventions. Really happy with how he's concerned with being faithful to the characters, as well as just his overall work. Composition is great. Carlos did a great job on the colors. Very happy with this. Now, within this issue, I actually had drawn it myself because with the first issue, there's really no deadline, so I guess I didn't really feel the crunch of trying to produce issues regularly. I would soon, after doing this issue, find the amount of work that went into the lettering and just being an editor and marketing, all the other hats that you have to wear pre-press to get the book ready for the printer. So, knowing that I would never be able to draw the book with any regularity, I decided that I, had it out of my system to draw an issue. I will still do convention drawings, pinup drawings for the books, art whenever I can. But at this point, being the writer became my main concern. But again, tried to do a pretty good job here. Some pages I would go on to redraw. The story got changed a few times. This is actually one of my older pictures that I had drawn quite a while ago, giving a little bit of the background of Shazarath. If you had not watched the Zero video, I should point out again the team members: Shazarath, Gladiatra, Chain Reaction, Blue Dynamo, and Kathira. So those are our characters. Actually, a back cover done by Luciano Vecchia. He has drawn, I guess, some work for DC at this point. Batman Beyond. He has done, again, various, more concentrated on the Cartoon Network and animated portions of the DC publications. But at the time, this was prior to that, I had known him mainly from The Sentinels, which is a book by Drumfish Productions. Rich Bernatovich puts out The Sentinels, and I had loved that series and loved Luciano's art. So at that time, I had probably contacted Rich, who put me in contact with him, and I was able to get this fantastic illustration to use for the back cover. Luciano actually did his own colors on that back cover. All right, so we were getting back to the interiors again. Artwork that I had done. Let's see. I just don't want much of a spoiler going on in here. Yeah, a little exchange between. Well, actually, this character right here is Commander Roberts. They are actually headquartered in a space station, and Commander Roberts is, he has some ex, like CIA background. So he was an operative and pretty much had been hired by the Argo 5's billionaire benefactor, Denny Dennis, to kind of lend some guidance to the team. Let's see. So, well, basically, again, as number 0 had not come out yet, there is somewhat of an introductory towards what the characters are all about. I will point out that, and I might change this within a trade paperback, that I did a 2-page spread here, and it's actually to be read straight across. Probably if I had been a more experienced editor, I would have perhaps had the colorist kind of blend that. I may actually take those page files and just connect this as one. Like now that I have, again, more experience in publishing and can make a 2-page spread without anything getting eaten in the middle, I might be able to just combine that and try to blend the colors. Now, again, I had drawn this issue myself. The colorist, Giuseppie Pica, had come in to color this. I had actually had a colorist working on it, and he kind of had gotten too busy to continue. So there are some pages that were not by Carlos, but for consistency's sake, I had Carlos, I had Giuseppe follow the colors that were previously laid out. And, so this is not Giuseppe's typical. He would go on to color quite a few issues of Argo 5. This is not his normal style, but rather, again, I had asked him to follow things that had been done within previous pages. That's about all I'm going to go into as far as not giving any spoilers around. Again, I do not write Argo 5 for 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds or anything. It's not particularly racy. It's not like it's anything you wouldn't see on, like, TV shows in the past, like Desperate Housewives or whatever. But, we do get to see that Gladiator and Shazrath are, sharing a bed there. So, again, it's to be noted that this is, I guess, mature reader, but, maybe rated T for teen or something. Who knows? All right. Going into some of the pinups. We have Gladiator by Elton Ramalho. And he's a fantastic artist who I had come across online. Did an amazing job with that one. Anthony Castrillo had done that Shazrath, which I love the mythic background that he gave it, being that Shazrath is a mythic character. I really liked that one. We have Blue Dynamo by Jim Calafiore, who people might know from, right now he's doing Red Lanterns for DC. He was very popular on Secret 6 on DC and Exiles for Marvel. Really, really a phenomenal artist. So I love the take he did on Blue Dynamo. Tim Tyler did this Cassira pinup. Tim Tyler had his own imprint back in the day, Fathom Press. I think later on he became Doom Theater. Just a phenomenal artist with, I guess, first well known for Blood Rain, which really made a splash in the 80s for having like all a black and white comic with red ink. But beyond that, Hades was a book he had done, just like a variety of titles, Fiends. He really did some like amazing work. It was an amazing imprint, and throughout many issues of Argo Comics, there are pinups by Tim Tyler because I became friends with him and everything way back in conventions. And if I'm loving the work, it's I like to have that represented within my comics. Like to have works from people who I have been a fan of. And speaking of which, we have a chain reaction by Tim Vigil. Again, Tim Vigil, who, let's see, way back, came across probably his first published work, and I think it was called Power Plays by Blue Comet Press. I know it's Blue Comet Press, but I'm not sure. I think it was Power Plays. But at any rate, Vigil would go on to do Grips for Greater Mercury, where he probably gained more fame for, and then ultimately Faust for Rebel Studios, which with writer David Quinn. His work, he's a modern master. His work speaks for itself. Anyone who's familiar with his work knows that he's like, head and shoulders above many within the industry. And then lastly, we had an ad for Argo Comics Anthology number 2, which would debut the Sorority of Power, which would go on to have their own title. And maybe at some point, when we're done annotating the issues of Argo 5, maybe we'll go into what made up each issue of Sorority of Power. But the anthology was where they actually had broke out in issue number 2 of the Argo Comics Anthology. And basically, if you go to argocomics.com, argocomics.com, and you click on the button to shop, the button will say shop. Once you click on that button, it would bring you to a store where all the issues are available, and each issue has some preview pages, so you can actually read a little bit about each issue from there. And that includes Anthology number 2, which we were just talking about. So, that pretty much wraps it up for the first issue of Argo 5. Again, an issue I was pretty happy with. And you can come back next time, where we will, of course, be going over Argo 5 number 2. Thanks a lot for watching.